something. Okay. So yeah, here are the definitions that Tableau give you about parameters. So parameters are dynamic values that can replace constant values in calculations, filters, and reference lines. And basically all it says is that parameters are something you can use to make your dashboards and your worksheets dynamic if you so wish. Don't feel like that really tells you very much. I feel like the best way to do this is to just sort of build some worksheets and dashboards and that kind of thing, and you can follow along if you want, and you can see how they work. Okay, so for the first half I'm going to go through a few things. So I've got them built here, and then I'm going to build them from scratch, but I'll show you what I'm going to build before I start building it so you can sort of see what the end goal is before we start, so it doesn't look like I'm just doing nonsense. And then after we've gone through these, I've got a few examples that the guys in the room will work through. If you're listening online and you want to work through as well, then you're welcome to do so. Okay, so let's get started. The data set that we're using is everyone's favourite, EU Superstore, because it's really inventive. And the first thing we're going to create is this. So basically here you can switch between measures. So it's currently on profit, but you can have a look at sales if you wish, or discount. And then you can also switch by dimension as well. So that's country at the moment, or we can go in category and region. Okay, so the other thing to note here is that the titles change as well. So just bear that in mind. Okay, so let's try and build this. So first of all, let's just sort of build like a basic, just one of the views. Oh, that's frozen, but just one of the views without any sort of dynamic parameter filtering or whatever. So let's put sales into rows like this. Oh, try that. Okay. Yeah, sales into rows, and then let's just put, where is it, country into columns. Okay, so we've got one of the views that we want to have a look at. So aim of the class, let's create a parameter. We can call it choose measure. So it's always a good idea when you're creating your parameters to call them by what you'll want to see on your screen. So it can be like an instruction, like, you know, filter by country or that kind of thing. So yeah, it's quite a nice idea to just keep it as an instruction. The type of our parameter is going to be a string, and we want it to be a list. So here, because these are the measures, we'll put in sales, and then profit, and discount. Okay, so that's the parameter for the measure, and then we'll do a similar thing for the dimensions. So I'll say choose dimension, if I can spell. Oh. There it is. Dimension. And again, we want that to be a string and a list. And what did we have? We had country, category, and region. Okay. So if we show these parameter controls, show parameter control, you can see that they don't actually do anything yet. And the reason is because we need to create a calculated field for these to talk to the parameters, which will then change the main view. So let's create two calculated fields. So we'll call it chosen dimension. And here we're going to use a case function. So it's basically an if function. So you can say when, for case, when choose dimension, no, you want the case, we were looking at the parameter choose dimension, and we want to say when that equals country, then we want to look at country. So here, the reason why I put this in quotations is because that has to be inside the quotation, that has to be exactly how it appears in the parameter. Otherwise it just won't work. Then we do the rest. So what was it? Country, category, category. And finally region, then we want to look at region. You want to finish that all off with saying end. That's the end of that function. Okay. So that's one. And we'll create another one for the measure. So we'll say chosen measure. Case choose measure. When we were looking at sales, now here we don't just want to put when sale. Oh, that should be this. So here we don't just want to leave sales like this because we're looking at the sum of sales, the sum of the profit, but we don't want the sum of the discount or the average discount. So instead of that, instead of just leaving it like sales, we'll actually put the aggregation in in this formula, and we'll do the same for profit. And some profit. And then for discount, we'll do the average. Okay. Any questions about why we're doing the aggregation in the formula? No? Okay, good. You guys will all probably be quite familiar with these. So. Okay, so now we've done them. If we put those into our view, so if we find it here, and we replace the sales with the chosen measure, like that, and then the same with the dimension up there, and then you can see that these change with whatever you click on. So that's done what we want, which is good. Now here, the problem is that we've got chosen measure and the chosen dimension axis label hasn't come up for some reason, but we've got chosen measure, and that doesn't really tell us much because if we're just looking at this view, we might not think to look over here to see what this actually is. It's just easier if it's already on the label. So we will create another calculated field, and we can say chosen measure header, and it's pretty similar to the other ones. If we just put choose measure, or case, and say when when sales, then we want to view the axis as sales. So we just want it to be just in quotation marks again. We don't want any actual fields in here. And then we do the same for profit. Then profit. Then discount. And okay. And then we do the same for dimensions. So chosen dimension header. Give me a second. Okay. Right, I'll just try and reconnect.
Can I ask something, Beth?
Yeah?
Could you not just put the parameter as you were just writing exactly what was in the parameter?
No, because it's not quite the same. So if I'll show you both the dimension ones. So you see here that these are the fields. So that's why it's only coming up with like...
Oh no, I mean on just for the header one.
Yeah, so these are the fields here, but then for the header, we don't want the fields, we actually just want the text, because otherwise it'll, instead of it putting in a field for the axis label, it will just call it like chosen dimension.
Oh no, I mean if you put choose dimension as the header,
The parameter itself.
the parameter
Oh,
itself,
right.
then I think it does the same thing.
Why is that not working? So you're saying if I create...
So edit that formula, the header one.
You don't need to do anything with the formula. Just put the parameter on shell.
Oh, does that
yeah,
work?
just drop it on, yeah.
People did not tell me that.
The catch is you can't rotate it.
Ah, well, this is why. if you do it with this, you can't rotate it, so you can get rid of this. We don't want to show the header. Oh no, we do want that. We just don't want the...
Well, you can't format it. That's funny.
And then you can obviously rotate that.
I think you can
make it...
format but not rotate.
Oh.
You just use the parameter itself. Or at least I've never found a way to get to rotate.
This airtime is having issues today.
We're not really watching
Yeah,
it.
okay. I need it for later, but I'll just not read it. Okay, fine. So anyway, pardon?
I was.
Well, you can join the GoToMeeting. Okay, so if I put the, if I put the parameter on the, so I put the parameter up here. Right, okay. So I think, yeah, maybe if you just do it the one that's on the rows and then you can rotate it.
Try with the parameter instead of pocket that. See if it works. You can rotate it.
You can rotate it. Oh. You can rotate it. Ah, okay, so just ignore everything I've just done. Didn't know you could do that. Well, not everything, just the headers. Don't ignore everything I've just done, just the headers. Okay, so yeah. Okay, that's good to know.
So team 1, is it? Allows you to rotate the headers.
Apparently.
Yeah, it didn't used to.
Yeah, I was working on the old version. So.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So yeah, so that's our final bit for choosing the dimension and the measure. Okay, cool.
You would say that the titles of the sheets. You were saying that the titles of the sheets changed.
No, the titles of the axes.
Oh yeah, but before we started, you said that the titles and the titles changed.
No, I was talking about the titles of the axes, and that's changed. Okay, cool. So on to the next. We're going to have a look at how to have a date parameter and show this by a reference line. So here we're looking at the month of the order date and the sum of sales, the line chart. Okay, so if we find order date, right click and hold that down and drag it across, and we can put month in there. And then sales here. And we've got the line chart like we've got here, which is good. Okay, so again we want to create another parameter. Let's create a parameter and we can say, we'll call it pick date. And we want the data type here to be a date, obviously. And what we can do, so we want it to be a range, and we can actually set it from a field, so we don't have to manually put in the right dates or anything. We can set it from here, set it from order date, and then it'll automatically populate with the relevant values. Okay, so click OK. And we've got that down here, so we can show that parameter control. Again, we can't see anything because we haven't set up anything to work with it. So if we, I don't know, oh yeah, so if you go on your analytics, because it was a reference line that we had, so drag a reference line over to the month, and then we can, there it is, pick a date. You can also do the same thing here, so you can create a new parameter and create it whilst you're in this view. I kind of like to do it separately, I don't really know why, I just do. So that's up to you, it's personal preference, but that's one I've just created, so you can put that in there. And there you go. You've got your parameter which moves with the date. So any questions on that? It's all pretty simple, that one. No? Okay, cool.
Can you change that pick a date label? Can you change that to the actual date? Is that possible?
Potentially. So label computation value, maybe. Yep. And then, yeah, if you hover over it, it'll also say. Okay, so that was a nice one. So the next one we're going to look at is sorting by sort of the different little charts. So here we've got sales and profit and discount. And we can choose if we want to sort it by sales, and then obviously it will change these to be the same ones on the same rows. Or we can sort it by profit or discount. Okay. So if we go back in here, and then we want, what did we want from me? We want subcategory on the rows, and then sales on the columns, profit on the columns, and discount on the columns. Okay, so we've got the basic view here, which is good. And again, we want to create another parameter. So if you click on here, create parameter, and we'll call it sort by. And again, we want it to be a string, the list. Also, if you want to make it easier, if you've got a lot of things that you're going to put in the value, you can create it by an integer. So you can have one and then display that as, I don't know, sales or whatever. That's quite handy if you've got either like really long values, as in the strings that you want to display, and then you don't have to type them all out again when you're doing the case statements. But I think for here, I'm just going to, because I've only got 3, I'm just going to keep it as a string. So put that back onto string. And we go sales, profit.
While you're typing that, the other reason you'd want to use integers rather than strings is they're faster.
Yeah.
So when you get big
always,
databases, they're a lot quicker.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, I definitely had a case where I used the integers and then it didn't work properly and I had to make them strings for some reason. I don't know why.
Unless the database itself is something else through. Something silly like that, but
Yeah.
normally it's shouldn't.
Yeah, the other reason why I don't use them is I always forget which
What you
one's
did,
which.
yeah.
Yeah. So I'm always like, what was one? And then I always end up putting the wrong one in, but to double check it. And so yeah, I'm just going to leave it like this. So yeah, this is pretty much the same parameter as choose measure, but we want a different one. Okay, again, if we show that parameter control, again, it won't do anything because we need to create a calculated field.
If you show it as single select, then you can see all of the words to copy in. So it's a bit easier. That's it's a single value list on there.
Single, oh
And
yeah.
then when you run the formula, you can see what you need to cover.
That's, yeah, okay, top tip from Dan. Thank you. Okay, so yeah, create another calculated field. And we'll call this sort by, I'm going to say sort by CF. You can call it just sort by if you want to call it the same one, but then when you come to writing your formulas, you've got to do like parameter dot and then the name of the parameter, so it can get a bit confusing. So I just tend to call it by the same main name and then just put CF on the end for the calculated field. Okay, so same again, case, sort by, and then we want to put when sales, and again we want to use the aggregation for each of these fields. If you want to save time, then you can always do this by duplicating the field we made earlier, but I'm obviously not. Okay. Okay.
Absolute power.
Right, okay, so now we've got our parameter here, but obviously again it's still not doing anything, even though we have got calculated field, and it's because we want to sort here. So if you click on the subcategory, what you want to sort on, click sort, go on descending, field, and then we can, there is our calculated field that we want to sort by. So if you click on that, the aggregation is custom, and that's because we've already put the aggregation in the field, but if they were all sums, so if you hadn't put sum of sales and sum of profit, and you were only looking at sales and profit, you could just leave it as sales and profit in the calculated field and then put sum here. It would do it, but because we're looking at 2 sums and 1 average, it just goes to custom. Okay. And then when you click on these, it sorts as you so wish. Okay, so any questions about how to sort? No? Very good. Okay, so now we're going to look at use a parameter to choose the top however many values you want. So this obviously changes with what you want. Okay, so to cheat a little bit, I'm actually just going to go and duplicate this sheet. Okay, and then if we grab onto subcategory, hold the control key down and put it onto filters, and if we click top, and by field, we can go here and then create a new parameter. So similar to what I said before, but usually, as I said, I do it by creating the parameter first and then putting it in, but I'll do it this way for a bit of variation. Okay, so I'll call it top n. And the current value is 10, that's all fine. We want a range, and now we can again set this range to be the, oh wait, no. Yeah, so hold on, before I do that, if you can see here, there's actually 17 values here. So we don't want to allow the user to put in more than 17. We want it to, if they put in more than 17 for the filter, we want to automatically switch it back down to 17. So otherwise it won't work. Okay, so go back onto here and say top n. And then we want the minimum to be 1, because we always want one thing to be in the view, and we change this to 17. Okay, so I put that in there, and there. And if we show this parameter, oh, it's already there. So yeah, so you can put in whatever you want, and if we try, an issue. So yeah, it only goes up to 17 there, and you can change it like that. Okay, any questions on that? No? I haven't checked the chat in a while, so anything. No.
Why can you not type it in on this one?
Because you put the fixed range in. I think that's why. Which is a bit annoying. But if you didn't want that, I mean, you could change it and then just, like, I don't know, not, maybe just, I don't know. What could you do, just have all? Would that work? Yeah.
Okay.
And then, but I don't know what would do if you tried to put in more. Right, it would come up with 18 there, like on the top end, it would come up with 18 as if it's showing 18, but it's only showing 17. So yeah, I'll just change that. Go back. Oh, no. Okay, right, so the next thing I'm going to show. So here, this is a view where you can change between a bar chart and a line chart, and it's showing the same thing. We'll do a similar to one this in a bit. Well, actually, you're going to do a similar one to this, but it's not quite the same. So, okay. Let's go back here. So here we had the month on the columns, and we're looking at sales on the rows. So if we just create the basic viz like before, put sales on rows, and then month on the columns like this, and we've got our line chart, which is good. Or if we want it as a bar chart, and then how do we get something to sort of switch between the two? So again, create a parameter. And as I said before, you can sort of make it sound like it's an instruction. So we could say choose bar or line. Again, I'm going to make this a string and a list. I'll put bar and line. we show that parameter control, and then by the end of it, they'll be able to choose which view they want. Okay, so now I'm going to create two calculated fields, and I'll call this one sales bar. So this is the calculated field which will come up as a bar on the worksheet. And I'm going to use an if function with two ifs, like two i's even. This is basically just a condensed if function. So we've got if choose bar or line is equal to bar. Then we want it to choose, we want it to show sales. And if not, we don't want it to show anything.
Sorry, can you just repeat quickly what was special about this, the if
Yeah.
statement?
So basically this is the same as an if, but it's just condensed. So the first argument that you've got, that's saying, okay, well, if that statement's true,
Yeah, then
then
sales.
you want to show the sales, and then the final argument is your else. Yeah,
So this is how it works in Excel, isn't it?
I think.
Is there
Not really
a particular reason for doing this? Or?
saves time,
Fine.
space. Just, I don't know, just preferred it.
Fair enough.
Variation, Gwilym, variation.
It's my time.
Okay. Any more questions about that? No? Okay, so I'm actually just going to duplicate this because we want it to be the same pretty much, but we'll call this sales line. You'll see why I'm doing this. Change this in here to line. So it's the same calculation, but obviously one just says bar, one says line. Click OK. Right, and then if we put sales line in first, put that in there. Now that doesn't show anything because we've got bar. Put on line, it'll come up with a line. And then we want to show sales bar. So that obviously still comes up with a line down there, but we'll sort that out. So I'll keep it on line for now. We want this to be all on the same plot, so we'll make this dual axis, like so. We don't want to have two different colours because they're measuring the same thing, so it doesn't matter. So we'll take measure names off colours in the all section of the marks card, like so. And then what do I do? Oh yeah, synchronise the axis. That's always a good idea. What am I doing? That's a line, and then click on this. Oh wait, yeah, sorry. So here you want this to be a line, and then if you go onto the sales bar, we don't want that to be a line, we want that to be bars. So, and then when you flip between the two, it'll do what you want it to. Now you might notice it does say 48 nulls down here. Basically all that is 48 bars here. And those 48 nulls are is basically the values of the line. And then now those 48 nulls are the values of the bar. So that's what's making them not show. So we can just get rid of that. Hide this. Okay. Any questions about that? Oh. Very good. Okay. On to the final one before you guys can have a go. So here we've just got the categories by net profit. And here we can expand it if we want to by subcategory, and we can just see it just for each one, just so we can sort of drill down a little bit further into where that profit has come from. And then we can always just go back to all, so we can just compare the total profit for each different category. Okay, so let's make this. So the basic view is if we put category on rows and then profit onto columns. So then we've got the view that we want when it's all. And then we can put subcategory in here. So what we're wanting to do is find a way to cancel all of these for the parameter. So first of all, create the parameter. and we'll call it expand a category. And yet again, you'll get it because it's so much repetition. We'll call this furniture, office supplies. Am I doing that right? Oh no, sorry. You can, oh, watch up.
As the day is quite hectic and cannot follow to the end, could you kindly email us the material?
Yes, I will. I will email that across once I've finished.
And it's being recorded, so.
Yeah, so you can follow along later. Office supplies and then technology. So you can also do this if you want to add it from the field and just choose category. Probably should have done that, but that's fine. So just do that, category, and then there they all are. But as you probably noticed, we did have an all in there. So I'll put that there, and we'll just drag that to the top. So it'll look like a normal filter will do. Okay. And then that's our parameters. So again, if we show that, wherever it is, expand the category. And then create a calculated field. And we'll call this expand a category calculated field. And we'll say another if statement. And so if expand a category equals the category we want, then we want to show those subcategories. Otherwise, we don't want to show anything. So that's why I'll just put 2 quotation marks with nothing in between. It'll just come up as a blank. You can put anything in there like total or whatever you wish. It'll do the same. Okay, so again, you could use an if statement there with 2 I's. It'll do the same job. Okay. Right, so and then if we put that, where is that? Expand a category. And if we put that over the subcategory, and there you go. So now this is expanding furniture. Then office supplies, technology, and then if you want to go on all, it will just have the complete totals on there.
When you said all, but really you mean none, don't you?
Well, yeah, I do. So yeah, as I said, you can call it anything. Pardon?
You can have it all and none.
Yeah.
Could you get all? Yeah. How would you get all 3 to expand at the same time?
That's a good question. I don't know. Let's have a look.
Could you not just go like and this, then, like your if statement or whatever?
Well, if I'll change the parameter first. Go on this, edit, and then have an all there, and then none. And this. Go on the calculated field. Okay, so we've got if category equals category, and that. Let's try else if expand a category equals all in capitals. Then, yeah, then I guess subcategory, yeah. And then else, what's this? Yeah, let's try that. Yeah. Very good. Thanks for pointing that out. All right, so any questions on anything? No? Okay, I'm going to connect it to the Airtime. So for people who are listening online, I'm now going to do sort of a few exercises, like put them up, and then you can recreate them if you want to follow at home. So this is where the majority of, well, this is where the sort of teaching aspect it'll end. There we go. So if you want to follow it at home or at work, then that's fine. If not, thanks for listening. Okay, so the first one is not that, because that's blank. This, if that would work. At home is not my friend.
Is it still going to be EU Superstore?
Yeah, so yeah, these examples are still all on the EU Superstore. Oh. Come on, Anthony. It's trying to connect. There we go. Okay. So just to give you a quick rundown, we've got the choose bar or line. Again. We can change the measure, which is on the y-axis. Oh, that's always good.
Oh,
There we go, it's just a bit behind. There you go. Yeah. We can pick a date again. So this will move. It's just so slow on Earth Day. There we go. And we've got the colours, so before the pick a date it's orange, after the pick a date it's blue, and then just ignore that, that was a trial and it didn't work. So yeah, go ahead. Good luck. Oh no. 7, 6, 5, 4. You're in prime position. Just gonna, there you go.
What are the options for the measures?
I'll do what Dan said actually. We'll do the single value list so you can all see. There you go. I've done the top one, but that was pretty obvious anyway. So. Yeah, scroll around. See how you're all doing. Well, that doesn't. Shout out if anyone's got any questions as well. Don't hide.
Was the pick a date line a constant line or a reference line?
Reference. Yeah, as you might have seen already, this is done on week. Anyone got any questions? We're all getting on.
Somebody on GTM asked you to update it because they couldn't stay to the end.
Oh yeah, no, thank you. Should I go through it, or do you want a bit more time?
Is that the right syntax? Case, choose measure one profit, and then one sales and sales, and one discount and discount end. So,
Well, almost. Oh, hold on, let me just. So I didn't actually do a case for this one.
Okay.
I don't think. I'll double check. Okay, so for the
it was the choose.
chosen measure. So, sorry for this one. For like the first one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Sorry, I was thinking of something else.
What does case actually mean in straightforward English?
So it's basically, okay, well, I want to look at this parameter.
Yeah.
So when the case is this parameter, I think of it as like
And
a
that's
case
when the
is in,
situation
yeah.
I want to look at.
So but when that case equals this thing, then we want to look at this measure. Okay. You can do it as an if statement as well. I just prefer case.
Oh, fire alarms must go.
I think we've got 14 minutes to prepare yourselves.
Yeah.
Can you just put when should I just do it, see if it works?
That's all that was.
That's okay. I've never
Oh,
quite
remember
sure.
that you want to aggregate inside the thing, because we're using different aggregations for each field. So just for one versus. Yeah.
Some. Oh, but when we're in the header one, you just say.
Yeah, but that's, I think, is an old sort of get around, so I don't use to do that anymore.
probably something on the thing.
Quick question.
Yeah.
The thing that has a measure bar and measure line is continuous things. I've got, I remember when you were going through it, the other thing was just like if the choose bar or line is bar, then bar, else no, end. So it comes up with sort of dimension.
I will show you my calculation.
Right, okay.
So it is different
Yeah, gotcha.
because we're using a parameter for the measures, so you need to include that in your measure line and measure bar. Okay, that's what you're getting. Quick look.
I think that right, if then choose bar line to line.
If.
No,
No, I know.
I really struggle with
Yeah.
these calculated terms.
Do you want me to go over what this if statement is? When you get to it, just give me a shout. Oh, you're on.
No.
Okay. So basically, it's just like an if statement again, so think of Rachel's book.
Yeah.
And that's just saying this is the if. So if this is true, if the first thing you see is true, then we want to do this. Else we want to do this. So basically the comma, the first comma is then. So if this, then this. The second comma is else.
Okay.
Else. No.
Calculate, choose, measure, calculate.
Yeah, choose and measure. So it's the one that we will create to go with
Oh
that.
yeah, because I worked backwards because I knew how to do this.
You've got to choose. You've got to choose.
Oh, so I
measure,
have that
haven't
already.
you? But you want to put,
Yeah.
do you want, should I leave that calculation up or do you want to, yeah?
It made sense when you went through it. I'll
Yeah.
watch you back again.
Just think of the commas as then and else. You can use this form of an if function when you've only got one thing that you're looking at. So like one else.
Okay, so I called it choose, measure, calculate.
Yeah.
My colour line's been weird.
Give me 1 second.
It's because the colour line works on a date, but the bar is on a week.
Right, yeah.
It's easy to see this month. Look, that's that month.
It's not actually good.
It's
Oh,
part.
yeah.
Still,
You can change it every day,
I've done mine a week, so I can.
but you can still kind of see it on
I don't have it in the
You just press all.
Right.
Still kind of see how they don't show up.
Okay, I hadn't noticed that. I'll just okay, so there's a bit of an error, I think, on my part.
Unless yours is right,
Um,
I'm just going to mess with it.
I'll have a little look.
I know how you can change it.
How?
If you go to your order date and then go create,
Yeah, I think mine's doing the
well,
same
that's
thing.
just, that seems crazy.
Oh my god, it is, isn't it? Well, yeah. Just
Go to order date and create custom date.
order
Then you can
date,
go
as in order date on the dimensions
Yeah, yeah.
field.
right click that.
And then create custom date.
Then you want, I guess, week numbers, and then date part. Okay, that, and then change your color line, or whatever you called it, before or after color.
Oh yeah.
Change that calculation, so instead of using order date, it used order date week numbers.
Okay.
Oh wait, that might have messed up enough. Can't compare integer to date values.
Yeah, it's not fun.
Wait,
I'll
no.
just leave it for now.
Okay, I'll see if I can get to it.
Okay.
It's because, yeah.
1, 4, 2. Yes, basically all Peter was saying just then is that if you look at this, if Airtame is going to play, try and find a decent example. It's really difficult to see the change of that from month. Okay, so can you see how it stops at the orange bit there, and then it's got a gap to the blue bit? That's what Peter was just pointing out. I hadn't noticed that because I had mine on weeks. So we can try and fix that, but I'm not entirely sure how to do that yet. So we can come back to it. Okay, how's everyone?
I've got one. I think I've got it pretty much, but there's one thing that's really odd. So if we're looking at profit here, that's looking fine, especially but it's come up with this. I have no idea how that's happened, but it's sort of decided that 0 is actually at about 1,500.
Oh yeah.
And it's not doing that for any of the others.
Have you synchronized your accents?
Yep. I've done that.
That's really weird.
I know, right?
How's that? Oh,
Oh, yours is doing the same.
it's not.
Oh, no, it's not.
That was really weird.
Yeah, honestly, because so in the, I was thinking about doing the measure trust. It is some profit, right? It's not average profit. It's not in that measure. Hang on, I think weird. Hang on. Measure. Here it's saying.
It might not be the same dashboard.
I think that's so weird, and then
Well, the only reason I say that is when I put the reason I created to like these people had they might be able to log in.
If I switch it to 9,
Some
and it's showing this as minus 77. But it's just sort of arbitrarily adding about 2,000 to the.
That's really weird.
Yeah, I have no idea what
It's almost like it's saying the lowest value you've got. That's what they're saying is 0.
Yeah, which just don't understand what to do.
I have no idea. Right, shall I go through this?
Can you remind me how to do the colours?
Yeah, well, I'll go through it now. I've got one more to do, and I don't want to leave you all for ages. So. Okay.
I just sent over a ticket.
Okay, so I'm going to put my chosen measure
to the one with the
here, which is what I created earlier, onto my rows. And I'm going to put order date onto my columns for the week. Okay, so that's the basic chart that we want. And then I'm going to use the same parameter that I made earlier, so choose bar or line because it's the same thing. So I can show that. Or you can create a new one if you want to call it something different. That's entirely up to you. Okay, and then I'm going to create a calculated field, which is what I had up earlier. So I'll call this measure bar. We have if choose line or bar equals bar. Then chosen measure. Else we want it to be nothing. Okay.
Can you like explain that in plain English? Because I still
Yeah.
don't like really get what's going on.
Yeah, sure. I'll just go on this one. Okay, so I'll just change it to be the ones we want. So do you, have you got your head around just the general, the usual if statements?
Yeah.
Okay, that's all this is. So if you think of the commas as being, the first comma is sort of meaning then, and the second comma as being else. So you can say if choose bar or line equals line, then we want to show that measure, show the chosen measure.
Right.
Else, we don't want to show anything. Okay? Does that make sense? Or do you want me to go over that again?
Okay.
Yeah? Okay, cool. All right, so now we have our chosen, measure bar and measure line. And then as before, I'll put this up here. This. Drag that there. Make that a dual axis. Synchronize the axis. Okay, we don't want this colour. We do want colour, but we don't want it. This is colouring the same thing by two different colours, so we'll get rid of that one for now. Okay.
So can I just ask? So at the moment it's got the measure bar, but you don't. What's it showing then? Because at the moment you haven't got the parameter for choosing the measure.
Yeah.
So what's it defaulted to
So
showing?
it will just be what it was earlier, so I should have shown that.
Is it just like the first thing in the parameter?
So it will be because this one's on profit here.
Right. Okay.
It's just because it's also being used in a different worksheet.
Okay.
Sorry about that. Should have.
But like if you built this from the start with a clean worksheet,
It would just be the first one.
and it just wouldn't be displaying anything at this point, would it?
Yeah.
No, because you'd have to create the calculation. Okay, right. Sorry about that, whoever's listening at home, that was the fire alarm. You might have guessed. Okay, yeah, so if you were creating this from scratch and you hadn't already made your parameter in the related calculated field, yeah, that wouldn't have happened. It's just because it's what I created earlier. So, does anybody want me to go over that parameter and its relating calculated field again? Are we all okay with that? All happy? Yeah, good. Okay, so yeah, this is showing profit at the moment, and then that will change to sales and discount because that's what I did earlier. Okay? Right, so we need to make this, why is that doing that? That's really weird.
Because
So that needs to be a bar.
Yeah, they're
And then this
showing
needs to be a
bar and
line.
showing
Yeah.
line.
So then,
You're on automatic next time.
why is that?
It's in the calculation, no?
Discount. God's sake. Hold on.
It's the
Hold on. I think I might know what it is. If this decided to work.
you need to change it to line and then change the all.
9, 8, 9. I think it's fine. It is working. Yeah? Okay, cool. Right, okay, so we have the basic viz. Okay, now we want to create we've already got this pick a date parameter. So if I show that, this is so annoying. 1026. Okay, please stay on airtime. Okay. So we've already got this order, this pick a date field which we created earlier. I'm just going to use the same one. Drag reference line, I want that to be on the order date on the table. So pop that on. Got the pick a date there. And then with a bit of a look, that should move. Yeah. Okay, so now to get the colours, so one side is orange, one side is blue. So for this, we want to create a calculated field. And we can call it before or after order date. And then we simply just want a Boolean formula, so pick a date greater than order date. So that will just return either a true or a false. And then once you put that onto colour, it will colour the true side one colour and the false side another colour. Okay. Is everyone okay with that calculation? Yeah? Cool. So if I then, now you want to make sure this is on the all part of the marks card, because otherwise it will only show up, if you put it on, like say just bar, it would only show up on the bar, and then if you switch to line it wouldn't show. So yeah, pop that on there. Ta-da! Well, it does work, not like Airtame will show you, but there you go. Okay, any questions on that? No? Okay, so we've got one more, and then you're free. This one's a bit different. So this is actually a dashboard, but it's a similar kind of thing. This is probably a bit mean of me to show this. You might just want to look at this on, whilst I'm going, sort of talking you through it. Just have a look on the GoToMeeting because Airtame is being a pain. Okay, so yeah, it's a bit, maybe a bit cruel of me, but you'll be fine. So yeah, similar sort of thing. So we've got a map or a bar. You can switch between the two. And we can also change the colour by measure. And you'll see that only profit goes into red. That's because that's the only one which can have a minus value. Okay? And then obviously sales, that can go to blue. Okay. A hint, you've got to create these two things separately. And if you've got this map, then if you've got map up on your dashboard, then your bar won't show on your worksheet the bar, and vice versa. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, there you go. Chat out if you've got any questions.
I want to go through the last one, and just see what you do with synchronizing the axis.
Done.
So with the last one that you built,
Charging.
what did you do about synchronizing the axis?
Peter is charging.
Did you synchronize these?
Yeah.
What's lost?
No, I'm
Try
looking
to,
for free charger.
No.
So, let's see the
Like, are you using your
line is fine. Margaret's fine.
I suppose.
I am 41%.
Yeah,
Samaritan.
okay. Right, so you could do
So,
so in that case, at least
Thanks.
the line at least keep it unsynchronized like this.
Yeah, but then if you went online, this one will just go to 0 and the
Yeah.
rest is there. So you still want to synchronize it so you can get rid of one side of your outfit.
But when you synchronize it,
It messes up.
it messes up.
So weird. Really, really weird. I don't know.
So at the moment, because I've got just depending on the order, synchronizing it bar, it's fine. And then the line is messed up. But if I switch it the other way around, line is fine. Now bar is messed up. It's synchronized thing. It's weird, isn't it?
Yeah. I honestly.
You go to something like this where
yeah,
and
it's not seeing it, yeah.
and it's something about with the measure bar, like if bar then bar else no, because when you're not like when it's not synchronized, it's like it's fine. It's sort of setting that to no, and
I have no idea. The only thing I can suggest is maybe just trying to create it from scratch again and see, because you know how sometimes if you do it exactly the same thing again, it just seems to work.
Yeah.
So maybe try and build it again and see if it works. If it doesn't, have another look.
Look if we use 0 rather than 0.
So that will work, that's it.
Maybe just put like blank, like just keep quotation marks.
Does anyone mind if I just change it to the
Yes.
bar so I can see
Oh, yeah.
what the
Okay.
Yes, because we can just see
Oh,
like this? Oh, it's countries up the
country.
side.
Oh yeah, sorry. So it's,
Okay.
it is the same. It's sales and well, choosing measure and countries on.
We've
So it's basically the same bit. It's just one's in bar form, one's in match form. It's just showing the same thing.
Right, yeah.
It's when you now get like the deadline
Yeah.
versus the axis, but it works with the axis.
So this one
Right.
is fine.
So at least with this, you won't get the nulls. A little null thing.
So putting it at 0, putting it at 0 works.
No, they won't.
That's really weird.
Alright, what happens if we go back to this? That looks so nice. It's still with it, it's still, no. Did you do that at some point? Or did you
No,
have
I did that. I mean, I did that yesterday to see what they were because I didn't realise I couldn't in some writing something else, and that's when I realised that those numbers were just the values of the stuff that you weren't showing.
Right.
I didn't do that today, but I mean, it's sort of pretty much the same bit. It's just weird that it didn't work. If you do that.
the other one that's good?
The reason why it's doing that like a little stack bar is because where your line, your reference line is, that's cutting that bar. That bar's also done by a week. So your reference.
Oh, right, yeah.
So when you're asking questions, it's not
Yes.
use the questions or you care about it. Okay. So
Yeah.
on the call with the
No, yeah.
support,
Actually, let's just talk about
is there actual, gotcha.
Yeah.
Or it's like the not
It's like a bars on that.
I don't know how to
It wouldn't let you do the longitude.
Right, how are you all
You
doing
need to make
with
2 sheets.
this one?
I figured that was the case. Or at least I hoped it was.
That's the question.
Wait, is that a dashboard? Or is
No,
that?
no. That's
That's
something I should have said. This does not use any dashboard actions. It's on.
But it's on a
switching-
dashboard though, isn't it?
It's on a dashboard, but it's not using a dashboard action to switch between the views.
But the fact that it's on a dashboard is vital.
Yes,
So try it the other way. It's impossible.
yes, no. It has to be on the dashboard so you can.
Well,
Yeah.
no. Works on sheets as well.
Well, no,
Just
it
doesn't
doesn't,
make
it
as
doesn't
much
let you
sense.
do formulas on longitude generated. It doesn't let you put it in a calculation.
Putting it on there.
This is a map,
So
don't
choosing
need
bar
to.
of maps at the moment.
but I think if you're using it as a map and a bar, I think this is the one you to do it. That's why I found that anyway, or came across. But regardless, this is just another way of using a parameter, so you can still do it.
You just use your calculation that says, if map, then give me countries.
Tried that, it didn't work. I don't know why. I'll try it again.
Then you put that field as well, would go onto your detail,
Okay,
or your colour, or whatever you're using.
I'll try it after this.
Because if it's null, it should disappear then.
I'll have a go.
Unless it does something stupid and not disappear the map.
Yeah, you get bars on the
Yeah,
map
that's-
background.
Oh,
If you lose that thing.
That's really weird.
Are you excluding null values
Oh my God,
with
I
the
want
filter indicator? I don't know, I've never done it. Usually I do it with an actual graph rather than that.
Like looking at it to right.
And I'm not actually doing this anyway, so.
You're creating
That's
habit.
my work.
Yeah, yeah.
No, actually, you can do it this way.
I'm just basically annoying you all. It's what I do. It's my thing.
anybody got any questions?
Why are you doing this to me?
Apart from that.
Yeah, how do you set up the basic authentication for the housing company's house API? It's a question.
Anyone got any questions apart from anyone got any questions I can answer?
Any questions that are relevant to what we're talking about?
Maybe nothing about APIs. I'm gonna do my little This is the sorry.
Trying to figure out the last issue before the that's
Oh. I feel like a parole officer, strolling around you all.
At least you haven't got a truncheon that you're spinning around as well.
You should do that. So like when you're not doing it right.
Right. I'm going to admit defeat because I can't get my bar or map thing to need a parameter and calculated field.
Have you got a calculated field for that parameter?
Why does my sales look like this?
Because you
You
failed.
need to you need to go on your colour legend and fix a certain something.
Right, I've got a, that's why. I took the wrong parameter.
No, because that'll leave that as 0 for all of them. So,
So profit.
That is also fly.
Profit
your
there.
percentage will be 0. And now, when you go on something which won't have any minus values, it just go on your discount.
Just slightly red. We've got a red tinge.
That's because it's between 0 and 1.
Yeah.
It's close to 0.
Yeah, you can actually.
Right, how are you getting on? Let me have a look at your calculated fields for your math and bar thingy.
Right, and then parameter, choose bar on map. Okay,
Yeah.
right. And then I've made calculated fields. If choose bar map equals map. Ah, wait, that's probably not.
Right, okay.
Okay.
I did it in a different way. The reason why that's good for this, for if you're wanting, when we switch between business before, we wanted them on the same worksheet, so that's why we created a dual axis. That's why you needed 2 calculated fields to go for 1 parameter. But because we don't want a dual axis here, you can do it all in 1 calculated field. So that was me. Should I go through it?
Yes.
Yeah? Alright.
That would be good.
There's no way to call a sheet instead of
Oh, so now Airtame decides not to work.
I always get that like 90% of the way, and then there's like one.
Yeah, that was quite tricky, to be fair. That was probably quite mean. Sorry. Come on. Let's go. Aha. It's so annoying when that shows up and your thing on the computer's still going round and it's like, come on.
Wait, it's got the little time there.
Not, I don't know. Connection to go to meeting has been lost as well. Mine's clearly not a fan. So it's massive fan. It says, give me a cover.
I'm doing it.
Details.
Oh wow. How big island is it?
Yeah.
Aha. Airtime.
Wait.
2914.
Doesn't stick. Yeah, that's okay.
Oh, it's looking a bit more promising.
Like I found like scripts and run them and understood.
It's only promising if I don't have to turn around.
No, it's on now. You can turn. Okay, so what I'm going to do first is create the map and the bar separately. Okay, so we'll go into here. On the map.
It's Grover.
Are we alright? Let me know if it drops, because I'll end up just carrying on. Okay, so double click on country. That's what we want.
Yeah, it's dropped.
Oh, it's
just
frozen.
Alright, I'll just wait. I'll look at my next step.
Is your next step amazing?
I mean, yeah, it is. All my steps are amazing. Yeah. Okay. And then we want the chosen measure on colour. Alright, that's your map for starting.
Wait.
Well, that's the map. That's as much as you need to know.
Okay.
The map so far. And I'll wait for our time to catch up. There we are. Okay, so the bar, we want the same fields. So drag country onto rows. And then chosen measure onto columns. And we want to colour by chosen measure again.
But then
There we go.
also we've got the slide.
Okay, so now we want to go back to the map. We want to create a parameter as before. So we'll say choose bar or map. Data type string. List. I'm pretty sure you all will have got this far. Map. Okay. Everyone happy so far?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Airtime is not.
Then just follow it and go to meeting color.
Yeah, if you want, if that's
Yeah.
one last try. Okay, so now we want our create calculated field. Now, as I was saying to Meg earlier, the reason why we created two calculated fields last time we wanted to switch between views is because they were on the same worksheet and they were both like on a chart, like a bar chart or a line chart. And we created two so we could have a dual axis, and then when we didn't want to see one, say if we didn't want to see line, all the line values would go to null, and then all the bar values would obviously jump up. But we can't do this here because we've got two different types of view. We've got a map and a chart, so we can't do that. So we'll just create one calculated field because we don't need to have a dual axis. So we'll call it choose bar or map, CF. And our favourites, let's go on an if statement, and we'll go if choose bar or map equals, that does have an if there, by the way, yeah, it does, that's just, yeah. If choose bar or map is bar, no, not an if, because we've got, you'll see. Then we want to have bar, else if, choose bar or map equals map, then map, and then end. Now, I tried this with just an else, and it didn't work, and I'm not entirely sure why. It would only work if I had an else if. I think it's because I've got another if statement. I tried it with just like else map, but oh wait, it should work with just else map. Anyway, this is why.
But I think like when Dan pointed out earlier, in this, couldn't we just have choose bar or map as parameters for the calculated field with that?
Well, that was for the headers.
Yeah, but would that work the same here? Because you're looking at if value is this, then same thing, else if.
You can replace that whole
thing, so you could just do
calculation with just the parameter then,
Okay.
and it'll be the same, give the same result.
All right, we'll try.
Yeah, it works.
Yeah.
Because that's how I do it.
Choose
Is
bar
it?
or map.
Yeah,
I think I must have been looking at some like old material then.
It's only like, if it's A,
Calculated
then
field,
A, if
and
it's
then
B,
you
then
put
B.
parameter measure amount as loaded.
Oh, okay.
Literally just that.
Ah, so I'm just basically confusing you all. Sorry.
Right.
So
Choose borrow map.
choose borrow mark, edit. So literally just this.
Where's it gone?
Yeah,
Just that. Okay. So yeah, apologies for that. I think I must have been looking at some old material as a guide. Okay.
This is for label, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is for the filter. Okay, so now we want to show these parameter controls in both. I'll show here. Now, this is on bar, which is good because we're looking at a bar. So we want this to be in the filter here. And it will only come up with 1 because it's the same as the parameter, and that's currently bar. So we click bar, which is looking at a bar chart. Okay, is everyone following along on GoToMeeting? Oh, there we go. Okay, so that's just on that filter. And this. Well, no, I'm not going to.
No, I don't know what that.
I think, yeah, it's fine. Yours did it yesterday as well, didn't it? I think it's got mine of its own.
That's okay.
Okay.
All
I'm going to take over, do you, Gwyneth?
Please be my guest.
How else would
All I was trying to do was see the chat.
Oh, okay. That's why. So I use like an integer as my parameter, so it's got like 1 instead of strings. So that's why
I
you
prefer strings. I always like, Dan, you want to be present now? Let's go.
Just taking turns. Just
Okay, anyway, and then go on to map, on your worksheet, map, and then on your parameter, click map. You want to see a map when you click on that. And then again, put the calculator field under filters, and it will only show up with map because that is what your parameter is showing. So click map and tick it, and then press OK. And as you'll see, if you go onto your bar, if Tame would hurry it, your bar has now disappeared because you're looking at your map. Okay, so we'll go onto our dashboard, we'll put in a vertical container, and we'll put in the measure map. So we'll also put in the measure bar down below, like this. Where's it in there? Get rid of this. I know we won't get rid of that for now. Make these floating. Hopefully that will get rid of the awkward gap. Floating, yeah. Okay. Okay, put this one here. We also want to see here the filter for the chosen parameter. So if you go on, where is it? Here. If you click the drop down for the measure map and then go on parameter and choose measure, I'll try and connect back again to this. Go back, second business. Again, we'll make this floating.
It's better than sniffing.
Okay, so then when we click on the bar, on the parameter on the dashboard, it will show the bar, and when we click on map, it will show the map. We do want to get rid of the header of the worksheet titles. Why am I doing that? Because otherwise you'll just have like a title sort of at the bottom and it won't be an actual title for anything. So just get rid of these. Like that. Okay, we're almost there. Whoa. Now we want to now we want to sort out the colours, because if we go on profit, it'll have like orange in there, but I had it to red and blue, so let's click on this. You go on red to blue diverging. Okay. Now the problem with this is if you go on then sales, it will still use the whole colour palette. It will still go to red and blue, which red to me means negative. We don't want that. So we want this to be still in blue. So if you then go onto the colour legend, go on edit colours, the advanced option, and if you center it at 0, it means that everything that's red will always be below 0. Everything that's above 0 will be blue, which is what we want.
Really like that tip.
Well, grunts of approval there from Ravi. Yeah, so now profit is the only one that will go into minus, and discount and sales, because they're always positive, will be always blue, and that all should follow through for this. Yeah, another problem that we have actually is the colour legend. So if I showed the colour legend for the bars, so make this floating. Okay, so that's great, works there, but then you've got this null value which is relating to the map, and then it will switch here. So now this one, which is relating to the bars, all over here, is null. Couldn't figure out a way to solve that. We tried. Hopefully there will be a way soon. I don't know. So this is, we're just going to have is it 2 minute silence, 1 minute silence?
2
minute silence when the clock turns to 11. Thank you. So I'll just, how many minutes? Seconds.
1 second.
1 second. Here we go. 2 minutes silence. Okay, thank you. 2 minutes. Okay, so I'm pretty much finished now. In fact, that's pretty much it. So I was just saying that's why I don't have a colour legend on here, because one will always be null, and it won't look very nice. So yes, that is it. Any questions on that dashboard?
Can I ask just how you get the one chart view thing? Because I missed it. Yeah.
The hiding thing. So
Collapsing the charts.
it does it automatically. So I'll create the dashboard again. Okay. Should I just, no, it's doing it. Okay. So what happened, the thing that hides the chart is because this,
Still works on it.
Yeah, I'll watch on that.
Okay. Is because the filter here is what is hiding it. So we're currently on the map worksheet. Which is why we've got map ticked there.
Mhm.
But because our parameter here is on bar, we're not showing anything there. So that's what actually collapses it. It's not an action or anything. It's just that parameter. Because, because it's just showing bars. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Okay. And that's why it's showing here as just a bar, but if we went on map, that would disappear. So it's actually that parameter which is doing the same sort of thing as a dashboard
I
action.
just have to remake my dashboard. That's
Right,
all.
okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, if we just then put all of this back in.
Is that right?
Bar.
You then have like a little thin vertical container with nothing in it, just hiding on the side, like that.
Yeah, if you've done it that way, I mean, I've got mine underneath. So if I make these floating again.
So they're both on there, it's just that one
Yeah, they are
is-
both on there.
is in-
So you can see before we delete the title, you can actually see that measure bars down at the bottom. If you look at GoToMeeting, because
Okay, yeah.
tends to be a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
So it's still there, but because there's nothing showing, it will just collapse to be the size it needs to be. But because there's actually nothing there, we don't really want to show that, so we'll just hide the title, because otherwise it just says measure bar and then there's no bars and it just looks weird. So yeah, so then that will take over the whole screen.
What you'll notice if you add more and more sheets to this trick, so you get like 6 or 7, you get like a growing blank space in between.
Mm.
That's just something to be aware of.
Okay.
Because it is still collapsed and there is still that tiny
See-
little couple of pixels.
Yeah, can you see
Wait
just
for
there?
your top tip to work around that. So
There
you're
is no
thinking,
tip.
yeah, you can make it then.
So if you look on GoToMeeting, you can see just there, there's like a very faint
Yeah.
blue rectangle. That is the sheet.
Could you say you have 5 sheets? Could you put the containers one on each edge, and then you have the
Still
same
get the same thing. Because you still get that gap.
But
Or are you saying like just pushing out?
You get a gap on each. If you
Oh,
line them like that, then it would be like
You'd get a double
white
gap on that
border.
side if you selected the rightmost.
Oh,
You'd get a double gap on that side
Yes,
still,
it
but it
would.
still helped because it wouldn't all be on the top or the bottom.
Okay, any other questions? Any questions online? I don't know if anyone's still sticking around.
You missed the back. Daniel, and the other Nick.
That was really good.
Okay, right, well, I will end it there. Thank you very much.